and gentlemen, parents, family members, and contestants, welcome to our first annual Randolph Public Schools 5th grade Vocabulary Bowl. My name is Christine Tangishaka. I'm the District's Family and Engagement Coordinator. I will be your MC for tonight. And without further ado, we're going to start getting our contestants up onto the stage. They're going to come on up, say their name and their school, and then they'll get seated, and I'll go over the rules after that. Ms. Wren?
My name is Sophia Chong, and I'm from the Donovan Elementary School. My name is Ahmad Berry, and I'm from the JFK School. I'm Christina Rossini, and I'm from the Lions School. I'm Willard DeGarosa, and I'm from the Young Elementary School. My name is Adora George, and I'm from the Donovan Elementary School. Sandra, and I'm from the JFK.
Hi, my name is Sarah Conk. I'm from the Young Elementary School.
My name is Mandy Fan, and I'm from the Donovan Elementary School.
Hello, my name is Elijah Roman, and I'm from the Lions School.
My name is Jeremy Shapansky, and I'm from the Young Elementary School. My name is Anna Tran, and I'm from the Donovan Elementary School. My name is Alex, and I'm from the Lions School.
My name is Chloe Ackles, and I'm from the Young Elementary School.
My name is Conrad, and my name is Conrad G. Michelle, and I'm from Donovan Elementary School.
My name is Mia Castillo, and I'm from the JFK School.
My name is Kai Francis, and I'm from the Young Elementary School.
My name is Kabir Aziz, and I'm from the Donovan Elementary School. My name is Chris Wynn from John F. Kennedy School. My name is Logan Doan, and I'm from the Donovan Elementary School.
So could we please have another round of applause for all of our contestants here today? Before we even go on, I just want to ask the parents and families to give yourselves a round of applause because, again, these students came out of all the 5th graders in the district, and we appreciate you supporting them and helping them study to get this far. All right, I'm going to ask you, out of consideration for the concentration that's about to happen, to please put your phones on silent or vibrate, please. I'll give you a second to do that. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce our judges for the evening. We have our District ELA Director, Ms. Cheryl Wren. We have our District Math Coordinator, Ms. Laura Odiavani. We have Mr. Brophy, who is our science teacher at one of our elementary schools. In the house, we also have Ms. Sarah Hosma, who's the principal for Young Elementary School. Ms. Cindy Lopez, our principal for the Lions School. Mr. John Licorice, JFK principal. We have our assistant superintendent, Dr. Angela Burke. And our district superintendent of schools, Mr. Thomas Anderson. Thank you all. So I'm just going to go over the rules for our round, this round, which is round 2 of the competition, because the kids obviously got here, and then we'll begin. Students have been placed here in random order. The definitions that are going to be asked will also be asked in absolutely random order, alternating between ELA, math, social studies, and science. A definition will be given this round. Students will have 1 minute to give the correct word, and the word must match exactly to the word list that were provided for them to study. All of our students will have an opportunity to respond in the first set of words that we go through, of definitions rather. All students with correct responses will move on to the second set of definitions. This will continue with single elimination until we have our final 6 students remaining. These 6 will then move on to our round 3. And there'll be the 3 top and then 3 honorary. And let the bowl begin.
Sophia?
Sophia, your question is an ELA question. Identify ways items are the same.
Compare.
Correct.
Ahmad, your question is a math question. A quadrilateral with opposite sides that are parallel and equal in length.
A rhombus.
That is incorrect. Christina, your question is a social studies question. The study of physical features of the earth and human activity.
Geography.
That is correct.
Willard, this is a science question. The force that pulls objects towards the center of the earth.
Gravity.
That is correct.
Adora, this is an ELA question. Communicate something.
Elaborate.
That is incorrect.
Bridget, this is a math question. A 3-dimensional shape with 6 square faces.
A cube.
That is correct. Sarah, this is a social studies question. A system of government by all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives.
Democracy.
That is correct.
Andy, this is a science question. A group of organisms of the same type living in the same area.
Offspring?
That is incorrect.
Okay, Elijah, this question is ELA. Make actions match what something or someone says.
Conform?
Correct.
Jeremy, this is a math question. An equation or inequality for which both expressions are numerical and can be evaluated to a single number.
Numerical expression?
That is incorrect. Then this is a social studies question. To make something on a large scale using machinery.
I don't know.
Alex, this is a science question. Waves of energy that people can see with their eyes.
I don't know.
Chloe, this is an ELA question. Make something better.
Enhance?
Correct.
Conrad, this is a math question. A straight line through the center of a circle from one side to the other.
The diameter?
Correct. Mia, this is a social studies question. An area, especially part of a country or the world, having definable characteristics, but not always permanent boundaries.
Region?
Correct.
Kai, this is a science question. A deep valley carved by flowing water.
Canyon?
That is correct.
Kabira, this is ELA. Struggle with something to figure it out.
Grapple?
That is correct.
Chris, this is math. Number that identifies a point on a plane.
A coordinate?
That is correct. Logan, this is social studies. Characteristic of a city or town.
I'm not sure.
Sophia, this is a science question. The organ for sight.
Eye.
That is correct.
Christina, ELA, describe or explain clearly or in detail.
Identify.
That is incorrect.
Willard, this is math. Approximate the value of a given number.
Estimate.
That is correct. Dora, this is social studies. An artifact, a document, diary, Bridget, social studies. An artifact, a document, diary, manuscript, a recording, or any other source of information that was created at the time under study.
Primary source.
Correct.
Sarah, this is a science question. The movement of populations of animals from one area to another.
Migration.
That is correct.
Elijah, ELA, having or showing no skill.
Inept.
That is correct.
Chloe, math. A line marked with numbers at evenly spaced intervals.
Number line.
Correct. Conrad, social studies. The period since the assumed year of Jesus' birth.
Before the Common Era.
Correct.
Mia, this is a science question. Material that has weight and takes up space.
Matter.
That is correct.
Kai, ELA, say something confidently.
I don't know.
Kabira, math. The number of times a number is to be used as a factor in a multiplication expression.
Exponent.
Correct. Chris, social studies. The process of adapting something to modern needs or habits.
Modernization.
Correct.
Sophia, this is a science question. A metal object that acts as a magnet when an electric current moves through it.
Electromagnet.
That is correct.
Willard, ELA, notice or find something.
Detect.
Correct.
Bridget, math. Place value counting. of settled land beyond which lies wilderness?
Frontier.
Correct.
Elijah, this is a science question. The sun, the planet that orbits it, and their moons.
The solar system.
That is correct.
Chloe, ELA, decide if something is true after gathering and considering information about it.
Defend.
That is incorrect.
Conrad Math, a systematically consistent and recurring trait within a sequence.
A pattern.
Correct. Mia, social studies, imaginary lines that run east or west of the prime meridian.
Longitude.
Correct.
Kabir, science, the energy of motion.
Kinetic energy.
Correct.
Chris, ELA, quote, paraphrase, or refer to something.
Sight.
Correct.
Sophia, math, the amount of space inside a two-dimensional shape.
Area.
Correct. Willard, social studies, a forcible overthrow of a government in favor of a new system.
Revolution.
Correct.
Sarah, science, the process in which matter changes from one liquid to a gas.
Evaporation.
Correct.
Elijah, create a picture of something.
Depict.
Correct.
Conrad math, the number by which another number is divided.
The divider.
Incorrect. Mia, social studies, the entitlement of an individual to vote.
Voting rights.
Correct.
Kabir, science, a device which changes stored chemical energy into electrical energy.
Battery.
Correct.
Chris, ELA, to add or include.
Incorporate.
Correct.
Sophia math, the distance around the edge of a circle.
Histogram.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Histogram.
That is incorrect.
So Willard, I'm going to ask you to please take your seat for a moment. So everyone, I would like us to please give a round of applause to all of our competitors tonight. So, we are now thank you, thank you. We are now at our remaining 6. And so this is the time at which we will move into round 3, our final round. I wanted to recognize the sponsors of our event, which is, this event is being sponsored obviously by the district, Roanoke Public Schools, but also by Lombardo's, which you all drive by as you come into town and go out, and they have been very generous with supporting this event tonight, so we wanted to be certain that we give them recognition tonight. Is Ms. Romano here with us? All right, I don't see her. All right, so then, I'm gonna ask our superintendent, right, Mr. Anderson? Not yet? All righty, we're going to run through round 3. Okay. So contestants, remaining 6 contestants, get ready. We're going to go now officially into round 3.
Okay, Willard, would you please come up to the microphone? This is an ELA question. What is the difference between accentuate and emphasize? And please use an example for each.
Emphasize means to draw attention to something, and accentuate is to say something confidently, and they're different because saying something confidently, you don't have to draw, and sometimes it's not important, so you don't need to draw attention to it.
Thank you.
Sarah, this is Matt. What is the difference between parallel lines and perpendicular lines?
Parallel lines don't intersect, and perpendicular lines intersect in a 90-degree angle.
Thank you. Elijah, this is social studies. Explain the difference between a democracy and a monarchy.
In a democracy, at the head of the country, it's a president, and on a monarchy, the head of the country is either a king or queen, and they're different because when there's a president, there's usually usually vote for the president, and for like a country that has a king or queen at the head, it sometimes like say like the king has a son or something, then once the king that's right now dies, then then his son would become the king of that country.
Thank you.
I'm going to interject for 1 minute. I'm so sorry, everyone. I did not give the audience our round 3 rules, so you notice we've changed the structure. Our contestants are obviously quite aware because they were here for half an hour before the rest of us. But let me read it to you, please, so you understand. Each of our 6 students will receive 2 questions per subject area in this round. The judges are using a point system to score them based on the responses being full, partial, or incorrect. Scores will be tallied to determine place first, second, third, and so on, and three honorable mentions. Students will receive additional questions in the event that there is a tie for any of the top 3 slots. Thank you so much.
Mia, this is a science question. Why do animal populations sometimes migrate to new locations?
They would migrate to new locations because of weather.
Thank you.
Kabira, please explain what compose means and name at least 2 professions that required people to compose.
Compose is basically to take several separate parts, and put them together. An author is a profession that would compose a writing piece. For example, J.K. Rowling composed the story Harry Potter. A lawyer would need to compose pieces of evidence and information to support their client in the court.
Thank you.
Chris, math. What is the difference between prime and composite numbers? And give an example of each.
Okay, so the difference between a composite number and a prime number is that a prime number's only factors are 1 in itself, while a composite number's factors are more than 2. So for example, for a prime number would be 7, because no numbers can be multiplied to equal 7 besides 7 and 1. And then an example of a composite number is 10, because not only can it be multiplied by 10 and 1 to get 10, but it also can, 2 can be multiplied by 5 to get 10.
Willard, social studies. What is the difference between latitude and longitude?
Latitude separates the Earth into eastern and western parts, but longitude splits it, which is the equator, into northern and southern halves. Northern and southern parts of the Earth.
Thank you.
Sarah, what gives rise to day and night?
What gives rise to day is when the Earth rotates. When part of the Earth is facing the sun, half of the Earth is facing the sun, it's daytime, and when the other half is not, it's nighttime.
Thank you.
Elijah, the CLA, define conjecture. What is a conjecture you could make?
So conjecture means saying something that could be true, but you're not completely sure. And a conjecture that I can make is that, that aliens exist because aliens could exist. They could, but we're not sure. We're not completely sure. So.
Thank you. Mia, math. Describe how to find the range of a set of numbers and give an example. I'll read it one more time. Describe how to find the range of a set of numbers and give an example. Thoughts?
You can find the range of a set of numbers by getting for the least, for the number that have the value of the least and the number that have the value of the greatest. And an example is 40 to 49.
Thank you. Kabira, social studies. What is the difference between a primary and secondary source?
The difference between a primary and a secondary source is that a primary source was written at the time under study, and a secondary source was written later by somebody who did not experience firsthand. An example would be Booker T. Washington wrote an autobiography, and a secondary source of that would be somebody writing a biography about Booker T. Washington.
Chris, why does our sun look larger and brighter than other stars?
Our sun looks brighter and bigger than other suns because our planet is, the closest star to our planet is the sun, and then all the other stars are in other solar systems.
Thank you.
Miller, this is an ELA question. Name two things your teacher or principal might monitor.
One is people running the hallways to see how that, see how the progress of people not running in the hallways improves. And the second thing is the work that people do and how much they're improved over time.
Thank you.
Sarah, math. What is the difference between equilateral triangle and an isosceles triangle?
An equilateral triangle has three sides with equal length, with all sides equal length. An isosceles triangle has two sides of equal length.
Thank you. Elijah, social studies. Explain the differences between urban and rural.
Okay, so urban is like in the city area there's like a lot going on. There's lots of lights in big cities, which could cause like so, and then like urban is like city, like for like New York is an example like of an urban area, and a rural area is like it's not exactly desert. It's so like take like a barn or a farm, for example, like barns and farms are like in a rural area where there's not much going around, and it's not exactly deserted, but it's kind of.
Mia, give 2 possible reasons for why mountain shapes, like the old man on the mountain, change over time.
One possible reason that the mountain would change shape is because erosion with water and wind, and another way could be weathering.
Thank you.
Kabira, what is something you are not willing to conform to? And please tell us why.
Something that I'm not willing to conform to is, for example, if somebody says, I'm going to win that vocabulary bowl, or say you're going down, I will not conform to that because I will have hopes that I will win.
Chris, if you are given 12 and 4 as numbers, what is the product and what is the quotient?
Okay, so the quotient of 12 and 4, the quotient would be 3, and the product of 4 and 12 are 48.
Thank you. Willard, social studies, give an example of a national symbol.
For example, the American flag, which has 50 stars representing each state, and its animal is the eagle.
Thank you.
Sarah, name a plant part that is important to reproduction.
The roots.
Thank you.
Elijah, if you were faced with a dilemma and wanted advice, you might ask for a blank from someone who you respected or a professional.
You might ask for maybe either advice yeah, I would probably say you might ask for not advice.
So I'll read it again. If you're faced with a dilemma and wanted advice, you might ask for a blank from someone you respected or a professional.
Maybe for a solution.
Thank you.
Mia, math. What is the difference between a hexagon and a pentagon?
A hexagon has 6 sides, while a pentagon has 5 sides.
Thank you. Kabir, social studies, give an example of the food chain.
A food chain, an example of a food chain in the rainforest, in a temperate rainforest, would be the top of the food chain would be the fungi, and bacteria.
Thank you.
Chris, give evidence to support the claim that energy can be transformed. Include the terms battery and light bulb in your answer.
Okay. So a battery doesn't naturally have electrical energy. It normally has chemical energy inside of it. But as you can see, if you connect the battery to a light bulb using wires and stuff like that, the chemical energy transforms into electrical energy.
Thank you.
Willard Math, explain what to do with an exponent and give an example.
What you should do with an exponent, so if you have a number, for example, 10, and you have 2 as an exponent at the top, you have to multiply 10 times 10, which you will get 100 as your answer.
Thank you.
Sarah, when someone hasn't cited a source correctly, he or she has blank.
You probably got the answer wrong.
Thank you.
Elijah, complete this sentence. For an object to be seen, light must blank.
For an object to be seen, light must reflect off of it.
Thank you.
Mia, social studies, how are gold, timber, and coal related?
Gold, timber, and coal are all natural resources.
Thank you. Kabira, math. Give an example of a common denominator for 1/2 and 1/5 and explain how you know.
A common denominator for 1/2 and 1/5 would be tenths, because 10 is both, because 2 and 5 are both multiples of 10, so they can be multiplied to create equivalent fractions for each. So 1/2 equals 5/10 and 1/5 equals 2/10.
Chris, what is the difference between compiling and synthesizing information?
Compiling information is pretty much combining information together in a way that makes sense, and that okay. So synthesize is putting information together in a way that makes sense, and compiling is putting information together.
Thank you.
Willard, how would you build an electromagnet?
You would have to use a magnet and some batteries to put electricity in the magnet.
Thank you.
Sarah, true or false? The world has 6 hemispheres.
False.
Thank you. Elijah Math, what is the difference between an expression and an equation?
The difference between an expression and equation is an expression isn't giving the answer, it's just the numbers, like it's just the numbers in so an expression doesn't give the answer, but in an equation, for an equation to be complete, it does give the answer to the problem.
Thank you.
Mia, what is the difference between expand and enhance?
To expand is to make something larger, while enhance is to make something better.
Thank you.
Kabira, why is reproduction important for animal and plant populations?
Reproduction is important because for animal and plant populations to create more of a species, they have to reproduce and make offspring. Without reproduction, most species would go extinct.
Chris, social studies, true or false? Indigenous people are native to a particular region.
True.
Thank you.
Willard, please fill in the blank. The captain, blank, the ship through rough seas.
Controls.
Thank you.
Sarah, social studies, the practice of traveling for recreation is called blank.
Tourism.
Thank you.
Elijah, Jared connected some wires to a battery and a light bulb, but the bulb didn't light up. What could be wrong with his arrangement?
He could have, since either the battery or the light bulbs, he could have connected one of the wires, not to one of the, he must have connected to wire to one of the, he wants to connect one to the wires to one of the insulators instead of the conductor, and that's why the light bulb didn't light up.
Thank you.
Mia, 4 office workers are given a new space to work in. To have their own private areas, they will need blank the room. They will need to blank the room. Sure. 4 office workers are given a new space to work in. To have their own private areas, they will blank the room. Thank you, Mia.
Kabira, what is the difference between area and volume?
Area is this amount of space in a two-dimensional solid, and volume is the amount of space in a three-dimensional figure.
Chris, Round 9,432 to the nearest hundred and explain how you know.
Can you repeat the number?
Sure. 9,432.
It would be 9,400 because if you're gonna round up, that means the tens place has to be 5 or more. But if it's below 5, that means that you don't round up, but it goes lower to the lower 100.
Thank you. Willard, true or false? The Germans colonized the United States.
False.
Thank you.
Sarah, please explain using an example the difference between compare and contrast.
So the difference between compare and contrast is compare is saying, like, identifying ways items are the same, and contrast is identifying ways items are different. An example is that let's see. Jolly Ranchers and Smarties have sugar, so that's comparing them, and contrasting them is that they're different shapes.
Thank you.
Elijah, what does the X represent in a coordinate pair?
In the coordinate pair, the X represents the first number. So say on my coordinate, it was 4. Say I had a coordinate pair and I had 4, 2. Then since my 4 came first, I would know that that's my X because X on the coordinate plane comes first.
Thank you. Mia, true or false? The United States borders Colombia and Canada.
Kabira, please give an example of perseverance.
An example of perseverance would be Jackie Robinson, because throughout his baseball career, Jackie Robinson faced a lot of racist remarks and a lot of threats from people who did not want him to play because of his race.
Give 2 examples of equivalent fractions for 1/3 and explain how you found them.
Okay, so 2 equivalent fractions for 1/3 is 2/6 and 3/9. And I got those answers because to get an equivalent fraction, all you need to do is multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. For example, to get 2/6, I had to multiply 1/3 times 2/2, which got me 2/6.
Thank you.
So our judges are just tallying our responses so far. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. That was an exhaustive round. Please give a round of applause to all the 6 finalists. Yes. So after that long round, we now have our three honorable mentions, and we have a tie for. We need to do a tiebreaker in the top 3. And so who will those be between?
Mia and Elijah.
So we're gonna have a series of questions go between Mia and Elijah. Judges, are you ready? Contestants, get ready. You'll be called up when your questions are ready.
Elijah, come on up to the mic, please. Social studies, true or false? The Pacific Northwest is a region of Africa. True. Thank you. And Mia, math, describe a number line.
A number line is a line where it's divided into evenly spaced intervals.
Thank you. Mia, I'm going to have you come up again for a social studies question, since Elijah already had a social studies. How is climate different from weather?
Climate is over a long period of time, while weather is over one day.
Thank you.
Elijah? What is the difference between accentuate and emphasize? Please use an example for each.
So accentuate is to make something stand out, so it's easier to see and notice. And emphasize is to draw attention to something because it's important. An example is like, say, it's like for accentuate. Say I wanted people to come to, because I just opened a new store and I wanted people to come to it. I would make a sign that would accentuate so people would they'd be drawn to it. And for emphasize, an example would to be say they were applying, say someone was applying for school, for like a school or like a school, and then people would want to so like say she had like a disability, and so people would want to like emphasize that so people know, so they put her like in the right classroom, so they want to emphasize it.
Thank you. Mia? What is something you would like to resolve in your community, the nation, or the world?
I would like to resolve that people wouldn't face their, wouldn't, be someone on their looks, but on their personality on the inside. And for people to know their personality before they think.
Thank you.
And Elijah? State whether the sentence is true or false. A square that has side lengths of 5 inches would have an area of 25 square inches. And explain how you know.
Yes, that statement is true because to find, so since it's a square and each side is 5 inches, if you were to multiply 5 times 5, you would get 25, which would result in an area of 25 inches.
Thank you.
Mia? This is the fill in the blank. The winning runner was able to blank every detail of the race from start to finish.
Can you repeat, please?
Sure. The winning runner was able to blank every detail of the race from start to finish. Thank you, Mia.
Elijah? What is the difference between a mixed number and an improper fraction? And give an example of each.
The difference, so a mixed number contains a whole number and a fraction, and a fraction of that whole number. But an improper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is larger than the denominator. An example of a mixed number would be 2 3/4, and an example of an improper fraction would be 9/3. Thank you.
Judges are just tallying our results.
While we're tallying the results, could we have the 6 finalists sit in the center section of the stage and the seats? Everybody move to the center. Thank you.
All right. Whew. Can I just ask the audience to give again another round of applause? Congratulations to all of our competitors. My goodness. Can you imagine being in 5th grade and having gone through this on a Tuesday night? All right. So out of our 6 finalists, we have our honorable mentions in no particular order. Willard Igarosa. And Mr. Anderson, I'm going to ask you to please come up here while we do the honors. Thank you. So I'll do it right again. Willard Igarosa. Sarah Akonkan. Oh, okay. Mia Costello. All right, and now we will list our top 3 finalists, starting with 3rd place. Elijah Burke Roman, our bronze medalist. Congratulations, Elijah, our bronze medalist. You've also won a $50 gift certificate, courtesy of to Barnes & Nobles, courtesy of Lombardo's. Our 2nd place silver medalist is Kabira Aziz. Congratulations, Kabira. You've also won a $75 gift certificate at Barnes & Nobles. And our 1st place winner, gold medalist, Chris Hunt. Congratulations, Chris. You've also won, in addition, a $100 gift certificate at Barnes & Nobles. We're going to ask, and then, right? I'm also going to ask all of our contestants to please stand in the back. We also have medals for them as well, because again, this is out of over 200 fifth graders. handshake with the superintendent. Sophia Trump. Yeah, Ahmad Berry. Christina Rossini. Adiora George. Bridget Sandrell. Mandy Fan. Jeremy Shapansky. Andine Tran. Alex McCusker. Chloe Eccles. Conrad Jean-Michel. Kai Francis. Tina Lee. And Logan Doon. May I ask you to please stand and give our finalists a hand and a round of applause. Congratulations, 5th grade vocabulary bowl competitors. We are so proud of you. Thank you for being the inaugural team for the Randolph Public Schools 5th grade vocabulary bowl. One more round. Thank you so much. Again, I thank you parents and families and teachers and our specialists and coordinators who helped to make this event a success. And we hope that you share with your 4th graders because we'll be back again next year for our 2nd annual Vocabulary Bowl. Thank you so much and have a great